In this video, I'd like to make the argument that camera recoil in Escape from Tarkov should be completely removed, and that weapon recoil itself should be reduced by like 90-95%. At the beginning of the video, I'm going to show you 3 clips of real-life weapon shooting, because it's going to be important for the explanations which I will demonstrate in Escape from Tarkov and in another game. They're going to be really short clips. So first we have this one. But it's a FN foul being shot in full auto. So in this video, if you pay attention, notice there's no initial recoil hump that goes up, and the side picture almost remains completely aligned, even though he's firing full auto on 308 rifles. And the other important thing to notice is that his eyes are not glued to the side picture. So even if the gun would kick up, the camera, so to speak, in the video game would not follow it, because his eyes keep looking at what he's shooting at. So there's a detachment from the camera and the gun. That's the first argument why the game shouldn't have camera recoil. Now this is a 1918 bar, walking fire. That's a caliber, I think, is it shooting 30-06? I'm not sure. Is it 30-06? Anyway, that's a bit more powerful than an FN foul. However, the gun is also almost twice as heavy. Now what he's doing here is walking fire. That's a tactical concept in World War II, where you advance on an enemy line and you shoot walking fire. And the idea is that puts enough firepower on the target that they rather duck than shoot back at you. Notice how the recoil is actually quite manageable. And then here, bolt action. I'm not going to show the whole clip, just where he's shooting.
Figured, why not? You know what? We're going to go ahead and run it. This is going to be now my 3rd time shooting it, but the German...
Notice what happened here. I'm going to slow it down even more so you can see it even better, because it's already slowed down, but I'm going to slow it by 4, turn off the audio. Now pay attention to what his eyes are doing, what his head is doing, and what the recoil is doing to his body. Notice the gun kicks really hard. It kicks considerably back onto his shoulder. And after it kicks on the shoulder, it goes up a bit, but that's only because he's allowing it to happen. I think if you could convince the shooter to keep it as straight as possible, they could resist the recoil much more. But why do it? For reasons of being comfortable when shooting a gun. You don't always have to completely contain the recoil when you shoot it. But here you see that, again, the side picture is distorted and away from the camera, if we assume the camera is what he's looking at, and he's keeping looking straight, and the gun goes up. So now let's look at it, how it looks like in Escape from Tarkov. Okay, so I got 3 guns prepared here. I got the FN foul, which is the SA-58, but that's I guess it's a clone or a copy of the FN foul. Now, if you shoot that thing full auto, first we try with iron sights. Now, I'm not using my mouse control to control it. Now, that's completely useless full auto. Now, let's see what happens if I use a mouse control trying to control it. Only slightly better. Because the game currently, you have some mouse control to pull it down, but if you have low mouse sensitivity like I have, I play with like 0.29 ADS sensitivity, then the game doesn't account for the relativity of the mouse sensitivity of the user, which means it's you can barely control it. I have to increase the mouse sensitivity a lot to get even slightly down. However, I shouldn't have to do that. Because in real life, as you can see in those videos, an experienced shooter barely has any distortion in the side picture, even in full auto with a 308 rifle. Now, the second gun I want to show you is a Mosin. Here's a big problem with the camera recoil. I'm aiming, shooting. Now, pay attention what happens to the camera. So this camera goes right up with it. That's way too much. And it shouldn't happen at all. Like, the gun should raise up if you want to, because of the recoil, because it kicks in the shoulder really hard. The Mosin shoots about a round that's slightly less powerful than the than the Mauser that was shot in the other video. Oh, I think a Mosin is probably a bit heavier than a Kar98 carbine. I think, I'm not sure exactly. Anyway, the bullet is slightly smaller than the Kar. So that camera recoil shouldn't be there in the game at all. Even if you shoot it from the hip, again, camera recoil shouldn't be there. And the last guy I want to show you is the SKS, because there's a relevant reason for the next video, next clip I'm going to show you. Notice camera recoil, snappy goes up. Now, some people might say it has a snappy recoil in real life. The gun has, but your eyes don't have. Notice here, side picture is gone. In real life, you would still use both eyes and you would have focus on that target. And because this currently feels like somebody is like taking the palm of his hand and butting you in the forehead every time you shoot, distorting your side picture. The side picture gets distorted, but your vision doesn't get distorted, kicked up by shooting guns. But that's a video game convention that was sort of etched into video gaming as some sort of realism where you have to pull your gun down, you have to have camera recoil. Because I think in early days of FPS games, for lack of creativity or possibilities, it was simply an accepted convention that the camera has to kick up when you shoot. However, there are better ways to do it, which I'm going to show in the next clip. Okay, so here I am in Post Scriptum, which some of you might know. It started as a spin-off game from Squad, but I think this game is the single best weapon shooting simulator on the market you have right now. There's similar games that are nice, like Hell Let Loose, Squad, other games, but this game is absolute perfection when it comes to animation, sound, and the way it handles recoil. So, remember when I showed you the first video about the full automatic bar? Now I'm going to pick weapons that are somewhat equivalent to a modern FNV. Did I say bar? I meant FNV. So here we have the BAR. Again, similar caliber to the FAL, but this weapon is a lot heavier. Anyway, so let's take a look at what it does to recoil. Semi-auto, going to aim, fire a shot. Actually, I'm going to try full auto right away. I'm not going to control it with the mouse. Okay, now notice it still creeps up slightly, or if I use mouse control, see what happens. That is completely unsupported shooting. Okay, aiming. Now I'm holding a mouse down. So I can hit something at 50. It's probably 50, 75 meters from here. That guy. Now compared it to the Escape from Tarkov shooting you have in FAL, the weapon is completely useless after like 10 meters, or even 5 meters, because you shoot above the head. Let's try walking fire. Very easy to control. And if you want to do hip fire shooting, it's also, notice the lack of camera recoil here. Notice that. There's some recoil that keeps the gun up, but there's no initial hump that denies you to actually hit something the first 3 shots. You just start shooting, and then it slowly creeps up. There's no initial bump getting in the way to punish you for trying to shoot full auto, because I think that became a video game convention, that if a player wants to shoot full auto, the desire to balance it, to not use it all the time, gets extrapolated into the opposite extreme, where game developers get obsessed with punishing the player for trying full auto. And I think Escape from Tarkov is an extreme example, where you shoot full auto and the gun goes like bang, goes up like that, the first 3 shots, to deny you any useful application of full auto. But as we see in the real life clips, it's actually much more useful. Now the second gun was a bolt action rifle, so let's check a nice one. Let's take the Kar98. Let's see what hard recoil you're going to get with the camera if you shoot. Okay, now we hindsight, aim, and oops, notice? No camera recoil whatsoever. The gun kicks up. So look at this, bang. Gun, not a single amount of, not even a trace amount of camera recoil. And that's how it should be. And you've seen the video. The guy shooting it, the thing kicks hard considerably back into your view. So you have some camera recoil if you shoot from the hip, but I think the reason is the game code wants to displace after a fire shot. It wants to displace the resting point when the gun comes to rest again. So you go bang, and he goes somewhere. Now the problem is in most games that you don't have really independent camera movement from the. Do I have free look on this? I think I have free look on some key, but I forgot it. And in most games, eventually the camera has to align with what the gun is aiming at. Some games have like free look boxes, some other games allow you to detach it, but The reason they have minimal camera recon in this game, because at some point the camera has to get back to where the gun is aiming at, or the other way around. However, it's much more controllable and completely non-existent on single shot and full auto or bolt action rifles. And that's how it should be. Now, some might say, okay, that might be shooting, maybe everybody's going to use full auto, then the game will be full auto, whatever. If developers don't want players to shoot full auto, they should balance it by making gun jamming and temperature an issue, availability of ammo, cost of ammo, but not punish the full auto out of the game because you have too much recoil. And there's one more thing I want to show you with the SKS. So I had a SKS, so what's the comparable weapon to an SKS in this game? So I'm going to take a G43. Now, some of you might know that's not exactly SKS type. It's semi-auto like an SKS. 10 round capacity. However, that's shooting the Mauser ammo, which is basically a semi-auto Mosin in terms of power, even more than that. Now let's check the recon on this gun. Notice the gun snaps back really hard because that's a Mosin Mauser powered gun. Notice it kicks hard back, but the camera recoil is virtually nothing. It's only there because the gun has to displace itself. Also pay attention. The way the gun actually creeps to this side because the animator knows when it kicks back on your shoulder, you're more likely to draw the gun to the right side. And I think that's how shooting should be in Escape from Tarkov. Because then you could have all the automatic weapons that currently have no practical use and full auto have an actual practical use. Like, for example, 9mm submachine guns. That's a 45. Sten. Yeah, let's take a Sten. Now, you know the recoil in Escape from Tarkov with an MPX or MP5 and full auto. Right, this one? What is that? The only recoil is from the displacement of the sight after the shot. Now imagine how it would change the game in Escape from Tarkov if you have 30 rounds of 9mm and you could actually do something beyond 5 meters with it. Because what I did just now, it's virtually impossible to do in Escape from Tarkov to hit something at that distance. You would waste the first 5 rounds going up there, then you pull it back. So, I think that should conclude the video. And as always, thanks for watching.